Hi, this is Sandro Forte, and today we're going to talk about step 2 in the telephone path. We talked about number 1 last time, you'll recall, pre-vision, the permission to speak, the apology, and the introduction. Now I'm going to talk today about humanizing the approach. And what we do typically is we need to link the reason for our call to typically a third person. Remember what I said last time? We don't simply want to introduce ourselves as my name is Sandro Forte from Forte Financial and invite the response, which is usually negative. We want to shift the attention away to something that is a bit more positive, something that takes away from that inevitable outcome in the client's mind that this is not a conversation I want to be having necessarily. So you'll recall that what I said was my name is Sandro Forte from Forte Financial, and I was speaking with our mutual friend Joe Bloggs yesterday. Joe Bloggs has recently become a client, and I promised Joe I would give you a call today, and I'm keeping that promise. Is that okay? Now, the words "is that okay" is something we refer to as a logical question. Every time we ask a logical question that has some degree of factual basis, something that contains some degree of logic, the answer will always be yes. So is that okay? Very powerful 3-word question to ask on a regular basis, particularly when fact-finding a new client. So is that okay? Now, just hold on to that thought for a moment, because some of you will be thinking, well, what if I just do cold calls? Number 1, if you signed up to be an advisor in this wonderful business purely based on cold calling, you might want to rethink your strategy and look at more of these videos. But if you do, you can still make a promise. You could say, instead of saying Joe Bloggs, you simply say, I work with a number of local businesses just like yours, Mrs. Smith, and I made a promise that I will give you a call today. Now, who did I make the promise to? That was, of course, me. So you can still adapt your phraseology to incorporate the promise, followed by, is that okay? When we get the yes, which we will always get if it's a factual, logical question, I then get the opportunity to humanize and in many ways to then lead to step number 3, which will be my message. So I'm very pleased to say that Joe has recently become a client, and he mentioned you, suggested that the ideas that I shared with him may resonate, may have some value to you, and if agreeable, what I'd like to do is to find some time to come and see you, to have a conversation on a no obligation and completely confidential basis. That's step number 2, humanize. So just to recap, pre-vision, introduction, starting with a permission to speak, making sure we then link to a third party, a distraction if you like, rather than just name and company details. And we ask the logical question, which gives permission to move to step number 3, which is the message. The message is going to be very important, something you may not have thought about before, but that is going to be key to linking to step number 5 and step number 6. Now, the reason I haven't mentioned step number 4 is that hopefully we bypass step number 4. You will understand why in the next video when we talk about number 3, the message.